Every great love story has no real ending. It just goes on and on in the hearts and minds of those worthy enough to hear it. The tale of Pat and Gerry begins in 1967, and it might just be the greatest enduring love story in the history of the world. Now, let us begin. More than 50 years later, all the way down in Niagara Falls, Canada.
My name is Patricia Raylene Chamberland.
My name is Gerald Gilbert Chamberlain.
I was born in Sydney, Nova Scotia, Cape Breton Island, actually part of Nova Scotia, in 1951.
I was born in 1947 in the city of Grand-Isle, Quebec.
What I did for a living was a counselor at a high school and an elementary school.
I think I was an attendance counselor. Thank goodness I'm retired.
I retired probably 3 years ago.
We met each other at a religious, God, I forgot the guy's name. But anyway, at a religious get-together through a friend.
We both had best friends that were brother and sister, Bruce and Jane Garrick. They thought it would be great if they introduced the two of us because then we could all hang out together. So guess what? We got to go to a Billy Graham crusade, which was at the time a really big event. And because there was lots of people around, didn't really put anybody on the spot. So yeah, Bruce Garrick brought Gerry to this place, and Jane Garrick brought me, and that was probably mid-September 1967. I had just turned 16 when I met Gerry.
We met in the year 1967.
It was kind of a pressured meeting. Probably I didn't want to meet him, and I don't think he wanted to meet me, but it was because of our friends that thought it was a great idea if we all hung out together. So being as nervous as we were, it turned out pretty good, because I think on first meeting we liked each other. I'm not sure, because when somebody asked him about me, he called me Helen. So I'm not really sure, but it just went up from there, so I guess it did work.
And I had painted the picture of a certain girl, and he said, that's Pat. So that's why I met her.
I thought his ears were too big. That was my first impression of Gerry. Also, loved the fact that he had long hair, because in those days, somebody that had long hair they were cool. I mean, my parents thought he was a hippie. I thought he was cool.
Nice looking girl, nice girl. large boobs.
Every time he took me out, it was with a student loan. I had no idea that after knowing him for so long, we'd have to pay it back. So I got really excited to go to a place called the VYEN, which is in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and it's probably one of your more posh restaurants, which I'd never been to. So I got a new dress, and he took me. I was really nervous, and I had to be home by midnight, or my father locked the door. So didn't give us a whole lot of time, because we were eating dinner at 8. Well, it was on that back step of my house on 40 Monk Street in St. Catharines that he gave me my first kiss.
Our first kiss was, I do not recall.
What it was like to have a first kiss from Gerry, he made my heart skip. It did an extra beat. I felt like there was butterflies everywhere.
In front of her, on the stairs in the front of her house. We just talked about maybe it's a good idea to get married. And that was it.
Well, I think what happened was because his sister was getting married the same year, and his brother was getting married also the same year, I think it just was assumed.
No ring, nothing.
I was scared, but I somehow knew that it was the right thing to do. I was young, really young, according to most of my friends. In fact, most of them thought I was pregnant. I lost a lot of friends, but I wasn't. I just knew that I loved him and I wanted to marry him, even though I was 18. So, and it worked. We were married August 16th, 1969.
August 16th, 1969.
Exactly 50 years ago.
Life was difficult. I'd just gotten a job, I think 6 or 7 months before, at Landing Fastener, making $47 a week. Big money. And Pat was working at Shaver Hospital, earning about the same money. We were married in St. Catharines at Westminster United Church. I think we had 75 people at the wedding, and the reception was at Sears Guardsman, really old fashioned place, made in Spanish style, and was very nice. All paid for by her parents.
We've been married 50 years. Has there been a lot of ups and downs in the last 50 years? I'd say we went through life like a wave.
We've been married a short 50 years. We've had ups and downs, a lot of them, but we got through it.
Yes, we sometimes were below the line, sometimes we were above it, but we were always together.
Our lowest point was when we were going to lose the house. Fortunately, we did not lose the house.
You know, I honestly could not tell you a really, really low point. I think the hardest would have been when I lost my parents. That was hard. And it was really, really great to have Gerry, my soulmate, with me during the really hard times as well as the good ones.
The best time was when I married her.
The best times were Friday night at either McDonald's or the Big Boy or maybe Fast Freddy's in St. Catharines. Ponderosa even then. We'd take the two boys every Friday night, because we were so tired after working all week, to a restaurant, and they were so excited to all be as a family and eat together. So yeah, I'd say that was probably the most exciting. Doesn't take much, does it?
The thing I love most about Pat is her presence, just her being around. A little blonde, petite blonde, gorgeous blue eyes, big bazookas, pleasant personality.
That he accepts me for who I am unconditionally. In my good times, in my bad times, when I was pregnant and big, like a horse, he accepts me, and that to me is everything. Everything.
The 5 words that describe Pat are pleasant, nice looking, intelligent, great body, nice person.
He's the kind of presence you would want to have around. He's the kind of friend you'd want to have. That's how I describe him. He's the kind of husband everybody would want. We had some goals, even though we were really young. We wanted to graduate college, get into the kind of careers that we really wanted. That took us working full-time during the day and going full-time to school at night. So basically for 2 years we had no friends and didn't see any family, because that's all we did was work and study. But that's what we did, and we wanted to make sure we had life established before we even thought about bringing kids into this world. So yes, we had goals. We completed them miraculously, because it was expensive, so we had to find ways. That's probably why we went to work all day and went to school at night, because we had to pay our way through. So that made it the right time, really, for us to say we want kids.
When did I decide kids would be a good idea? I never decided. Pat got pregnant, and that's how we got kids.
Even though neither one of them were planned, but very welcomed. Very welcomed.
Happiest memories.
What are some of my happiest memories so far?
Going on trips together.
My wedding day.
Doing art together.
The birth of my 2 boys.
Just enjoying our company on a regular basis.
When I went away for the first time in my marriage for a week and coming back, the hug I got was something I'll always remember. Those were the happiest times. When he would just put his arms around me and say, "It's gonna be okay."
Fun consists of going on trips, eating at different restaurants, and watching TV.
Okay, now that we're both retired, every day is fun. We've done things that we've only dreamed of. In fact, we don't even know how we worked. We're going to paint nights. We're we're turning a room that once used to be for the kids into an art studio. So finally we can travel together. We went to BC 2 years ago, and it was probably the best trip we've ever had. Probably because since we got married, we've been saying we have to go to BC. And we finally did, and it was worth it. It was the right time too. Being retired, you just don't have the stress that you have when you're working.
So we have traveled mainly in Canada. The best place we've been in was BC, where we spent a week and a half. It was great. We've also gone to Nova Scotia, Quebec, PEI, places mainly in Canada. The favorite being BC.
We love biking. Just love it. Can't get enough of it.
We exercise by bicycling on a regular basis and avoid any other exercise.
And I always have the basket on a bike because I have this feeling that it's Tuscany, and I have like a baguette in the basket and maybe a bottle of Pinot Grigio. Fabulous. Maybe one day.
What we hope for in the future is that we have a long life and more trips, maybe to Europe.
For the rest of the time that we have together, doing as much as we possibly could together, whether it be travel to different places we've always wanted to be. I just hope we spend a lot of time together doing whatever, because now that we don't have to work, we can do all kinds of things. We still come up with different ideas, and I'm sure there will be new ones.
What I would say to the family coming up is life is great. Even though you may be experiencing a bad time in your life now, it will ultimately become great. And there's lots of great things to occur in the future.
What would I say to my family right now, to my grandkids, to my great-grandkids, or even my great-great-great-grandkids? Remember to be who you wanted to be before the world told you what you should be. Just remember. That's what I'd say.
Toots, I love you very much. And I hope we keep on going for a long time.
I would just say happy 50th. I love you. Always will. Always have. There you go. And wow.
There you have it. More than 50 years after the chance meeting of Pat and Gerry, they remain steadfast in love. Then, now, and for all time.